What is up, pod pals? It's your buddy Adam, and we are doing another podcast audit session here with my good friend, Dr. Yvonne Henderson from Teacher Talk Tuesdays. We're going to dive in on some podcasting tips around podcast growth, podcast audience engagement, podcast monetization. I have all the ideas, all the tips coming your way. Dr. Yvonne, how is it going out there today for you?
Oh, it is good. I've been up and exercised, got my adrenaline going. So
Good.
I'm excited about this and ready to go.
Excited and ready. All right, Dr. Yvonne, we've got a few different areas that we could start off at. And you had mentioned that you're looking for more downloads, looking for some monetization ideas, guesting on other podcasts, more exposure, potential sponsorship relationships. Does that all sound accurate still?
Yes.
Okay.
Still looking for that. Yep.
Now, when I asked you to list your largest obstacle, you said downloads. I don't know who's listening. So how about we start there? Like what's the main sticking point with downloads, or where are you confused, feeling frustrated? Where do you want to start with that topic?
Well, with the platform that I'm using, it just tells me how many downloads there were. I don't know where people are listening from. They don't leave comments. I'm trying to figure out other ways to get people to interact with me on it. You know, I even get my email address where they can send me questions or topics, you know, just trying to get people so I'll know where I have listeners at and I don't know. Okay. So it's just awesome to get those notifications. Oh, you have 50 downloads. And I'm like, okay, where? So it's like, who's listening to this? You know,
right.
Pictures? Are they just people who are just listening? So, you know, I'm just trying to figure out where my audience is and what's happening.
All right, cool. So which platform are you hosted in?
Buzzsprout.
Okay, cool. So there should be some different breakdowns. Each platform is a little bit different, and they're different depending on which level that you have. Like I host with Libsyn, and if you are doing the $20 per month or greater level, then you get different analytics. So right. There should be something where you can at least see which podcast players are sending you your downloads. So you can see like, oh yeah, I have so many from Apple Podcasts, so many from Spotify, so many from Audible, so many from Pandora, like things like that. So you should be able to scroll down and see those stats. So you at least know which podcast player. Now with Libsyn, I can see like which countries they're coming from, if they're from Argentina or United States or Canada. I've got a huge following in Australia. Shout out to all my Aussie friends out there. So that's pretty cool too. So that is a little bit of like analytic wise, you should be able to scroll through your feed and see that. And if not, you may have to upgrade your service to the next dollar level, or usually it's like $5 more or something like that. You can get advanced analytics. So that's something to explore. And if you aren't seeing that inside of Buzzsprout, just, hit a little email to their service department. They've got pretty good service, and just say, hey, how do I get better analytics as far as knowing where my downloads are coming from and not just downloads overall. So that's the approach I would take with that. And it's pretty cool to see where you're at. And then you could also go to, there's a website called Chartable, like chartable.com. And you can list your show there, and they will give you updates on how you're ranking in different countries as well. Like I just got a notification. I was like number 57 in Germany for business shows or something like that. And it's like, it's kind of cool. So you at least see a little bit of a breakdown there, and that's free. So that's you just put your RSS feed in there, your Apple RSS or your Apple Podcast link. You load that up into Chartable, and then it kind of kicks out the information. So that's another option just to see some analytics. Is that helpful so far? Yes, it is. Okay. And I'm making all these notes for you. So just in case you don't get everything written down, I've got it all, and I'm going to send it all your direction. Don't worry. Okay. Sometimes I just start going rapid fire, and I realize I talk pretty darn fast from 6 years of podcasting. I just bring the fire. Okay, so when we talk about engagement with your audience, like actually hearing from people, what I found in my experience in all the various shows that I've done is that a lot of times if you just put an ask out there, like drop me a DM on Instagram or send me an email with your question, those don't work as well as some sort of very specific engagement where, like, I host a bi-weekly Zoom party, my PodPal Zoom party, and I invite people to come on to that. And I'll have 15, 20, 25 podcasters come on every single week that listen to my show. and then we interact for an hour, and we're like eyeball to eyeball interacting, and it's really, really good. So that's where I get a lot of engagement. Or if you do something very specific where like I'm testing out a new lead magnet right now with my audience, where that I've got this new lead magnet. I'm putting it out there and going, okay, I would love for your feedback on this. I would love for you to test it out and send me back your feedback. So I'm getting a lot of engagement with that, but it's a very specific call to action, not just, hey, DM me if you have a question sort of thing. So I think coming up with really specific questions to ask them that deal with their pain points that your audience is dealing with, I think that will draw out some engagement. You can do that on your show. You can also do that on social media, or maybe you tie them together. So, the next, Tuesday episode, you put out a pain point based question to your audience. Like, are you struggling with XYZ? Hit me up on Instagram, kick me a DM and let me know. But you could also put up a post that same day that has that same question and says comment below. So that's like they end up on your Instagram, they see the post and they're commenting right there. So you kind of leave a trail of breadcrumbs from your show to the platform. And it could be Facebook. It could be a clubhouse room that you're hosting maybe. So you kind of, it's a hard ask sometimes to get people to take action just from listening to a show to a direct message or an email. So, I know we met on Clubhouse, so maybe you host a Clubhouse room, maybe you host a Clubhouse room and that's going to be on the evening on Tuesday evening, and your show comes out Tuesday morning, and you during the show you can say, hey, at 7 p.m. tonight or whenever it is, join me for a chat about this on Clubhouse. Here's my Clubhouse link. I think that's where you're going to get engagement, is pulling them off the podcast into another interactive platform. So how's that hitting you? Does that feel like it's doable? Or?
It's doable, yeah.
Okay. Have you hosted your own Clubhouse rooms yet?
No.
Okay. It's not that hard. And you don't have to have a club to do it. So that's nice as well.
Okay.
And so, the basics of it are I want you to schedule it in advance. So there's a little like calendar button at the top of your phone when you're on Clubhouse. You'll hit that, and there's an option to start a room or to schedule a room. Okay. What you don't want to do is just hit the green start a room button at the bottom, because that'll be live right then. So what I want you to do is schedule a room for the date of when you're going to put out this call to action on your show. So if this is going to come out, if you record an episode today and it's going to be out in 2 weeks or whatever on a Tuesday, then set your Clubhouse room schedule for that Tuesday and just test it out and go, okay, I'm on the show. I'm going to mention this. I'm going to give them the link to follow me on Clubhouse. They can hit the alarm bell in my room. And then you're pulling people in. You pull in a few moderators, maybe some previous guests that have spoken on the topic. Or if you had a guest on that week's episode, that's a great reason to pull them in, and you can kind of promote the episode right there in that Clubhouse room. So you get more people going back and listening. So it's kind of a ping pong effect. For the people that are already listening to the podcast, you're asking them to come and connect on Clubhouse. And then some people may just find you on Clubhouse that day, and they're showing up. You go, hey, if you really love this topic, go back to my podcast and listen to this episode. We're getting that cross interaction with both platforms. So I think you could do really well with that. Like, I think that's a solid use of your time, as long as we can get over the hump of, I know it can be a little scary starting that first Clubhouse room.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't too scared, because I was like, how do you join? I'm like, oh, click the button. I'm like, okay, this is cool. I was like, yeah. So it was really good. I enjoyed it. So,
and maybe find somebody that's in your space, or if you have a previous guest of your show. Now, you have co-hosts for your show too, don't you?
I have not. I haven't got that point yet.
Okay. I thought you mentioned that somebody.
Yeah, that was my question on Clubhouse, was how do I get guests in?
Right. So you want with Clubhouse, like you and I connected to Clubhouse. You saw me going live and you were able to join the conversation. It's the same things where what you would do, like if you have a previous guest that you want to be a co-moderator with you, and an ideal situation would be somebody that's been on Clubhouse before, and they can kind of help you, be that maiden voyage as a room host. Right. And so maybe you find that would be ideal, and you bring them on as a moderator, and then they're there. They can bring guests up or people up to ask questions and all sorts of things. So that's the direction that I would try to go. And if not, you could always like run a little Zoom party or something like I do. But I think since you're already in Clubhouse, I'm definitely doing this where I host my regular rooms, and then I'm just trying to pull previous guests in to co-moderate with me. And then we talk about their episodes when we're there. So we, like I said, we're pulling people from Clubhouse to my podcast to Clubhouse. And it's just, I'm getting more interaction, engagement on both. So you have to kind of give them a reason to engage and not just, hey, kick me an email with a question or DM. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
So maybe I think it'd be a good use of your time talking to your audience. I mean, I'm sure you already know their pain points and things like that, like making a list of pain point type questions or topics that you could cover on podcast episodes and social media posts and Clubhouse rooms. And then you speak on those points and then you kind of just stir up the action between the three different areas. So I think that'll be a good use of your time. Now, let me know who exactly is your ideal listener. Can you describe that type of person for me?
Oh, teachers who are frustrated. I've been in education for 21 years, and it's just a lot of frustration of what goes on behind the scenes. Parents, students, administrators, anyone in the educational system, politicians, things that need to change. It's a lot of things. One of, we talk about I talked about accountability, the pay that I've gone through. I've worked in Illinois, Colorado, and now Texas, and the pay is so drastically different. It is unbelievable. And I'm like, how do people live with salaries like this? I mean, how do you do this? So it's just like, those are the people I'm trying to reach. We have to make a difference, but if we continue to accept what we've been given, changes won't be made. So my whole thing is just looking at the way the structure of the educational system has gone, even with the pandemic and the remote learning now, and the students who have just checked out. What are we doing for those students? This past year I had 100 and something students, and only 50 of them engaged throughout the whole year. So what happened to those other 50? What are we going to do with those other 50? So those are my people in my audience, those who have kids who are affected by the system, so anyone who listens, it's like, this is serious. This is a serious problem. We're talking about our future.
Yeah. Okay. So that's very helpful to know. So I got a couple of ideas for either community building and or monetization. All right. Now, have you are you offering any coaching, consultation, anything like that right now, that as far as being able to bring money in from this?
Right now, I have, I just finished writing my curriculum for training substitute teachers, because that's what my dissertation is in. And I just finished that book. Actually, I finished the book last year, and I just finished the workbook. So now I'm trying to push that class to do some training in different districts, to try to partner with some districts to do some PD training, some seminars and things of that nature to help, or they can just do it on a Zoom. They can just take the class and I can just teach it on a Zoom class. It could be a webinar. So however this wants to get out there, just some training to help people in the classroom. Okay,
cool. And that's going to be a great resource. I think just another idea that popped into my head, and I don't know if this is something we could monetize or not, but it's at least like some sort of a lead magnet meetup. Like what I do with my Pod Pal Zoom party, you could do a monthly get together. It's just like a teacher think tank, like what you just described it, but it's kind of, you're teaching and you're discussing these things on the show. Okay, now let's get in a small group together and let's do a roundtable discussion where everybody's opinion matters. Everybody gets to say what their experience is. We're swapping what's working, what's not, where we're frustrated. It's like a teacher event session once a month. And what I would do is I would record it and put it out as an episode, and use that episode to invite people to the next one. And they're going to give you their email address, and that's going to build your email list as you go. So that would be a lead magnet. It could be a situation where you could eventually monetize too. If like, I know a lot of people that will host a monthly meetup like that and then have special guest teachers come in, and people are paying $50 a month, $30 a month, $97 a month for that small group special coaching access. So that's kind of a level 2 of that idea. Another thing that I know is really big in the teaching world is figuring out how to monetize your summer vacation. Mm-hmm. Seems like teachers are either like, I just need to take the summer off and just chill, or some of them are like, I need to make some spare coin during the summer, or they do continuing ed. So maybe you could have some sort of like almost like a summer break monetization, like a summer break side hustle boot camp for teachers, where you're having entrepreneurs come in towards the end of the school year and you're doing like a little workshop. Maybe it's a three weekends in a row or a one weekend thing, but it's a paid workshop, like $97, $197. And teachers are spending a weekend learning how they can monetize their summer vacation, learning from entrepreneurs with lots of ideas. And they can, like, I know a lot of teachers that do like student driving instruction and you know, things like that, or tutoring, or they just have different entrepreneurial ventures like lawn mowing services, things like that. So you could bring in experts that are in different fields that teachers could use to monetize their spring or their summer break. I think that would be super cool, like a summer, the summer teacher entrepreneur boot camp sort of thing. If I was a teacher, I'd be all over that. And again, you don't have to be the expert. You're the ringleader. You're the connector. You're pulling experts in. You're in the podcasting space, and you're connected to a guy like me. I can refer 5 or 6 people that'll come and teach to that right now that are, you know, big baller entrepreneurs. Like, they'd be glad to contribute to something like that because we're contributing to our educators, and that's big. We're investing in you guys, and you guys invest in our, like you said, our future.
Right.
So I think that's a pretty neat idea that I would consider. And again, I would do something like that towards the back half of the school year, where you're like, all right, let's get our summer entrepreneurship game plan in place. We're doing this workshop. Maybe you have it a few different times, just in case they can't make that first weekend or whatever you decide to do it on. Maybe it's a one-day thing. But I think it'd be pretty cool. How does that idea sit with you?
It sounds cool. It sounds good. I mean, you know, I'm a publisher as well. So I've published my own books, and I actually wanted to do a teacher talk anthology of different teachers, different areas, novice teachers, experienced teachers, retired teachers, and just put together anthology of their experiences. So that's something that I'm trying to get together as well. So yeah, that boot camp, that just sounds awesome.
And you could teach, I mean, you could do a boot camp on how to write a book during your summer vacation, how to be a published author this summer, because you've done that. Like that's where you're resident expert. So I like the idea of that summer vacation thing. Like, we've got 8 weeks to work with. And I'm telling you, Yvonne, nobody's doing this. You know, I would like nobody. This is an original idea that you can pull off, and you alone. Like, I've got 2 recent guests of my show that are both side hustle experts. Like, one of is a couple, and the other one has a show called Got Side Hustle. Like, having people like that come in and teach to your teachers, they're going to be all over it. Like, that's super cool. And then what you do, let's say you charge $97. Like, you know, first time out, it's, you know, I would probably do around that price point. Like, I wouldn't go lower. I think 97 is a really good price. It's less than 100. It's not like we're serving teachers, and you go, all right. Like my friend Chris McPeak, she'll come and speak at this. I already know it. I will commit her services. She owes me a favor. I help her get lots of downloads, so she owes me a favor. So she comes and speaks. You go, all right, Chris, if you advertise this to your audience, because she works in higher education. So she's very connected to people that are, you know, in the college scene, you know, or professors in college, which still they have summer vacation as well. Right. So you can give her an affiliate link and go, all right, Chris, I'm going to give you 50% of every ticket that you sell from your affiliate link. So she's getting $50, you're getting $50. But the cool thing is, these are people that you would have never been able to market to. So it's just like free money for you, basically. And so she goes out and gets people. Maybe she brings in 10 people. That's $500 to you. That's $500 to her. You're happy. She's happy. She comes in and teaches. That's how you get people, like higher level speakers, to come in and speak. You go, all right, I'm going to split revenue for anybody that comes in off your affiliate link. Like, you sweeten the deal with them. I've done it before. I've given them like 80% of the tickets that they sell. Because again, I'm like, these are people, they're not on my list. They're not in my world. I would have never been able to contact them. I could try to run like a Facebook campaign, but that's just throwing money at Mark Zuckerberg pretty much. Like, I'm just, here you go. Burn it, Mark. Just burn it. It's useless. So like a direct referral like that, you could do pretty good. So I would strongly consider it. I like that we have a long runway up until summer. The school year just got started.
Yeah.
Like, I know there's so many.
Christmas break, you know, that comes up.
Yeah. You could do a mini one. Like, maybe
one right there.
I mean, I love the idea of a little boot camp monetization thing. And the pricing sweet spots can be in that $47 to $97, something that can fit a teacher budget salary, you know.
Exactly.
but we're going to teach them how to make more money. That's the key thing. And then once you start doing this, like let's say you get 100 people in this thing. That's a legitimate, like there are 100 teachers out in the world. If you market this properly and you partner up with the right people, you'll find 100 people times 97. That's $10,000 in your pocket for the summer. And that's awesome. You know, like that's a real, for like a weekend of work, and, you know, your affiliates bring in a certain, another amount, and you're going to make impact. And then you run 100 people through this, and they have like, you check in through them without the summer, and you get some testimonials. Yes. And the next time you do this, it's $197. You got the testimonials, and you can be like, listen, Joe, teacher from Minnesota, pulled in an extra 10 G's this summer coming out of my workshop, or, something like that. Like you can get those video testimonials and things like that. You'll crush it. So I would kind of go, this summer is phase one, and then level up, get testimonials, get that social proof, and just show it off. I think you can really crush it. I like this idea a lot. It's something you can promote on your show. You can talk about it a little bit, and I think it's a winner. So I hope that you do it. Now I've got several other ideas, like download wise. I guess I'm going to send you all of that stuff. I know we're running short on time here, but I want to make sure that we get to shout out your show, where people can contact you if somebody wants to book you for their show, or if somebody is like, I'm a teacher, I want to go to Dr. Yvonne's boot camp that she's going to run this summer. How do people get a hold of you?
Well, they can reach me at Dr. Henderson, just the letters Dr. Henderson 77 at gmail.com.
Dr. Henderson 77 at gmail.com. I'll put contact info, and then where do they go if they want to listen to your show? The Teacher Talk Tuesdays.
Yes, Teacher Talk Tuesday. It is on Buzzsprout. I think you have to have an account to do that, but I'm also on YouTube under the same name, Teacher Talk Tuesday, with the number 2. So it's different. It's a little different, just sort of to stand out, but you can always see my little logo in the back. This is me. So if you see this, that's me.
Outstanding. And we're blasting live into YouTube right now, so maybe we get a little cross friction promo with your name popping up in there, so that all the SEO helps. Well, Dr. Yvonne, I feel like you've got a winner of an idea here. I really want to encourage you to keep going with your show, because it's serving an audience that needs to be served, that needs to be helped. I feel like you understand your audience really well. There's a lot of great things that could come up out of this. So I feel like the next 6 to 9 months could be pretty darn exciting for you. I'm going to send you a bunch of notes on ramping up downloads specifically that are going to help you too. So we're going to get more downloads, more audience engagement, more money coming your way, because you deserve to get paid for this. So I'm very excited about it. So I appreciate you coming on the show today.
I am too. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been awesome.
All right.
I learned a lot just in that small amount of time.
Good. That's the idea. All right, Pod Pals, if you want to be like Dr. Yvonne and you want to come on and do a podcast audit, just go to the website, www.podcastingbusiness.school. And with that, I will leave you, as always, wishing you health, happiness, and many downloads. We'll see you on the next episode.